Hey, we're back. Thank you all. We're very, very excited to be back here. We're going to do a song now that was inspired by a movie we saw in 2013, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. In the movie, the young innkeeper may not have known he was a Unity person, but he was definitely a New Thought person, because when anybody would complain, he would always say, everything will be okay in the end. And they would say, yeah, but this is not okay right now. He goes, well, it must not be the end. And I thought, that's a Unity principle. That's a song. Let's do it. So we hope you will sing with us. Very easy. Here we go. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. That's your part. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everybody sing it now. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Nothing in this universe will ever last. So if you're feeling low, this too shall pass. Because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. We're gonna sha-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Every happy song has to have some sha-la-la-las in it. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Even when the darkness seems to hide your way, after every night, a brand new day, because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Sha-la-la-la time. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-la-la-la-la-la. Okay, here comes the tricky part, Unity people. Even when it all just seems to go your way, don't get attached, it's gonna change. Even when it all just seems to go your way, no matter how many times you saw The Secret, it's still gonna change. That's okay, because everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the end. Look, no hands. But this is the end.
Good morning. Everything is okay, and it's not the end. Right? We're just beginning. This is just the beginning. I'm Reverend Dr. Susie Shadle. I welcome you to Unity of Sarasota, where something good is always happening, and it's happening right now. You just heard it. You just saw it, right? Am I right or am I right? That's what I thought. All right. Woo! How excellent is this? While I'm doing my welcoming, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Angelina and Armand. Many of you know them already, but I'm going to tell you about them anyway. Armand is an award-winning songwriter and inspirational speaker whose enthusiastic presence... Who wrote this? Did I write this? Whose enthusiastic presence, I think you saw a little bit of that, inspires us all to love life passionately. I love that. And Angelina's heart-opening and angelic voice draws from many languages. She was classically trained at Indiana University and was formerly with Epcot Center. They are international performers using songs, stories, and humor to remind us now to open our hearts and remember that we are meant to experience heaven on earth. Right when? Now. That would be correct. All right. Let me get this out of the way. I want to also welcome our guests and newcomers. If you are a newcomer or a guest here for the first time today, I would ask that you please stand and remain standing because we'd like to find out where people are visiting from. Okay, wow. Terrific. Wow. Wow. Woo, we love it. And while you're standing, Scott, who is the vice president of our board, is coming around with a gift for each of you. The gift is a shell necklace, which is indicative of the beautiful beaches of Florida. Each shell represents the love that each one of us individually is, and when we string them together, we have created a community of love, and you are part of it. And so I'm going to start right here in the blue. Where are you visiting us from? Ohio and Palmetto. Excellent. Welcome. Glad to have you with us. And how about here? New York. Pardon? New York. New York. All right. New York City? Nope, just New York. In the mountains. In the mountains, all right. Also New York? You're the other half over there. Okay, from Ohio and Palmetto. Welcome. Welcome home. We're glad to have you with us. And then how about in the back in the blue shirt? Yes.
Venice.
Venice. Wow. How early did you have to get up? How about here? Venice also? Venice, Florida. Venice, all right. Thank you for making the trek. We appreciate having you here. This is wonderful. How about in the purple and the white? Massachusetts, yay! All right. Welcome, welcome. And how about here in the black and the pink and purple? Boulder. Boulder? Yay, Boulder, Colorado. All right. Also for you, Boulder? No.
I've been in Sarasota since 1978, and this little beauty is my daughter, and she was born here.
Wow. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. This is wonderful. If you didn't receive a welcome packet on, oh, you can sit now. We don't make you stand for the whole service. If you did not receive a welcome packet on your way in, please pick one up on your way out. On the back of it is clipped a welcome card. We'd love to know a little bit about you, and then we can let you know a little bit more about us. Also, I want to welcome all of those who are joining us live stream. So let's wave to our live streamers. Hello, we feel your energy joining with ours as well. That's wonderful, because energy knows no bounds, right? Energy knows no distance, no separation. We're all one. We're all connected. So thank you for the energy. And I also want to say that it's really wonderful having the energy that I'm feeling right here. Don't I look good with these two?
We look good with you.
You guys are making me look good, you know? So yeah, I like this backdrop. Can you come every week and set all this up? That'd be great. This is wonderful. So we're welcoming our guests, we're welcoming everyone else, and just know that as we join this energy together, it makes the celebration all the more wonderful. Our board member on duty today is Scott Thompson. There he is. He also happens to be the vice president of our board of trustees. So you can chat with him a little bit in the lobby afterward, or better yet, we have lots of good things happening after the service. So you might want to talk to Scott over in Fellowship Hall, because there are all kinds of other interesting stuff over there, which I'll get to in a moment. So you can ask Scott questions about Unity of Sarasota, and he'll be more than happy to answer. And if you get stumped, he'll find out the answer for you. I want you to know also that Unity of Sarasota is a beacon of light and love. And we are opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. That is who we are individually and collectively as a community. Know also that we are an inclusive spiritual community that embraces empowering and life-affirming practical spirituality for richer living right here and right now in our individual and collective lives. And we join with our unity movement worldwide in creating a world that works for all. Part of making that world work for all, I want to acknowledge all of you. Where's Betty McQueen? Betty, stand up, please. I want to acknowledge Betty McQueen for organizing our blood drive, and I want to acknowledge all of you who gave blood. We gave enough blood to support 18 lives last Sunday. So please give yourselves a hand. Stand up if you gave blood. Thank you all. And then in September, we also had a blood drive, and so we have saved a total of 57 lives. 57 lives. Thank you so much, Betty, for organizing that, and for all of you for contributing. Okay. Just a quick health and safety moment. We do ask that you wear your masks while you're indoors. And we ask that you sit with people you live with or your pod that you've created during this COVID time. And otherwise, put some distance between you and others. And you can sing softly into your masks if you would, rather than, taking them down. And trust me, you sound fabulous. I get to listen to you every week, and you sound wonderful singing into those masks. Yes. Yeah, who said yes? Yes? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you sound fabulous. Yes. Thank you for the affirmation. He knows, you sound fabulous. All right, and today is very, very special. Not only are Armand and Angelina bringing us the message and the music this Sunday morning, but we are going to have a fabulous hospitality after the service in Fellowship Hall. Lots of excellent, wonderful food for everybody, and we are hoping that you will not only eat and feed your bodies, but you'll come back afterward into the sanctuary to feed your souls with a concert provided by Armand and Angelina. It's going to be fabulous. You got a little taste. You'll get a little more taste during the service, but the concert's going to be fabulous. You will walk out of here without even touching the ground by the time you leave today. Right? Am I right?
Right.
I'm
Yes.
not setting the bar too high, right? Okay, good. All right. Also, I want to acknowledge our Artist of the Month for November, Carolyn Daniel. Where are you? There you are. Stand up so people can see you. Carolyn is one of our own. Please enjoy the art gallery hallway and the art in the fellowship hall. She has some wonderful pieces. Please take time to take a look, and better yet, take some of it home with you. All right, right? All right, let's do that. Thank you for sharing your creativity with us. Also, guess what season it's getting ready to be? The holidays. You might have noticed a little Christmas tree out in the sanctuary lobby. That is our angel tree from the Salvation Army. There are cards there that you can pull, and you purchase that gift, bring it back unwrapped, and put it under the tree by the 28th of November, please, because they're picking things up early this year. So please bring things and help some other folks have a wonderful holiday season. We appreciate your contribution. On Wednesday, the 10th of November, we have a Wednesday night special. A woman that I met when I was presenting up at Chautauqua this summer, Karen Tibbles. I met her at the Quaker House. She's written this book, Persuade, Don't Preach. And it's really a very excellent book. And what it's really about is healing relationships, whether they be one-on-one or, with your family or with your community or your HOA or whoever it is. It's not just about political divides, it's about the things that we allow to divide us. And she's crafted some tools and techniques to help us to find common ground and to have powerful and effective and productive conversations with one another, even when we don't see eye to eye or we don't agree. Conflict can be creative and powerful. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. So come and learn that from Karen, and we'll also have a little reception in the bookstore afterward with some treats, good things to eat and drink, and an opportunity to do some Q&A and some book signing. I think you will thank yourselves if you come for that. It's very, very powerful work, and I would be thrilled to have a lot of people show up on Wednesday evening. Also, one more thing, Veterans Day is coming up on the 11th. Jerry Stricker will be marching in the Veterans Parade, and he invites all of you to do the same. So if you're interested in that, let Jerry know, or just show up downtown for the parade if you are a veteran. I know we have some here, and we want to honor those folks. And finally, on the 14th, next Sunday, we will be acknowledging the 68th birthday of Unity of Sarasota, 68 years old. Pretty cool, huh? So what we're going to do immediately after the service, we're going to walk over there to the labyrinth, and we'll have a brief dedication ceremony to our 68th birthday, but also a dedication of the book that was published by Unity of Sarasota during this COVID pandemic. 17 of our own authors each wrote a chapter of this book. It's a beautiful book called Pathways of Spiritual Awakening, Uplifting Stories of Personal Transformation. This is our labyrinth, by the way, and here we are, grounded, firmly grounded, but reaching up into the heavens. And you know what? It actually turns out it's a darn good book. So I highly recommend it, and I want to acknowledge any of the authors or the sponsors who paid for the publication. If you would stand right now and be acknowledged, I would appreciate it. We've got some back there in the booth, back in the booth. So we're going to dedicate and acknowledge that next Sunday as well, and have a wonderful dessert reception afterward, an opportunity to hear from the authors briefly and get book signing and all kinds of cool stuff. It'll be a great celebration. Wonderful creative work has been done during this pandemic, even when we weren't here, we were here. So thank you, and I want to acknowledge Michael for heading up that team during the time. So thank you, Michael. Okay, guess what Sunday it is?
Birthday Sunday.
If you are celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, could be the anniversary of your membership here, it could be your anniversary of whatever you want to celebrate. It could be the birthday of yourself, your children, your sobriety birthday. It could be just the fact that you're here. If you're celebrating, we do have a tradition here that there's some colorful envelopes in the seat backs that you donate $1 for each year that you're celebrating, and that money will go to pay for this beautiful new sanctuary that we have here that we've been blessed with. And so, shall we sing happy birthday?
Let's sing happy birthday.
All right. Stand up if you're celebrating.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you are wonderful. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you. You are wonderful. God is blessing you now. Cha cha cha.
All right. Woo, that was great. A little bit different birthday.
Shaking it up, baby. Shaking
We
it
like
up.
it. You know, and I want to thank these guys too, because it gave Rob an opportunity to have a long deserved Sunday off. So, and I almost got one, but I'm still here. Oh, you know what? Well, I've got that. You know what? I knew this spelled.
Boy, God will get our attention, right?
It's like, oops, you forgot something. Okay, good. All right. After that rousing birthday song, I'm going to invite us to take it down just a little bit. We're going to move into prayer, and so I would invite you to please close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Otherwise, just a nice soft focus, maybe looking at the flame of the candle, looking outdoors at the beautiful landscape, whatever allows you to be fully present in this moment. Let's take a deep breath into the center of our being. Hold that space, and then release the breath fully. The breath reminds us that we are always in the divine flow and circulation of the goodness of God. And so taking another deep breath in, allow the inspiration, the breath of spirit to fill your heart, and then release the breath fully. And again, breathing in deeply, know that this breath is to breathe in the very experience of Father, Mother, God, Spirit. And on the out-breath, that breath is our own individual expression of the one. Knowing that we express ourselves individually and uniquely in a diversity of form, and yet we remain one in the unity of all life and creation. We are one. We are one. We are spirit expressing. Just bask in that. Wrap your heart and mind around the fact that we are, each individually and collectively, Father, Mother, God, Spirit expressing. And for this remembrance of the truth of who we are and who we are called to be and what we are called to do, I am eternally grateful. And so it is, and together we say, thank God within and all around us. Amen.
So we're going to sing the prayer for protection. So imagine that James Dillett Freeman, our poet laureate, got together with the Reverend James Brown to sing the prayer for protection. 1, 2, 3, 4. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Hit me again. The light of God surrounds us. Woo! The love of God enfolds us. Ha! The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Kiss myself. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Woo!
Hey, how about if we recite our statement of being with energy like that?
Amen.
Yeah? Together? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, who is perfect life, perfect intelligence, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. You are an individualized expression of God. We are individualized expressions of God. Woo.
Wow.
Some energy going. Yeah. Bruce McLaughlin is going to be our community connection sharer today. So Bruce, come on up and share with your community.
Good morning. It's good to see you all this wonderful energy. Okay, Susie asked me to talk today briefly about what Unity has meant to me over the years. I've been a member of Unity churches for about 30 years, so for quite a while. And when she asked me, I thought, I need a word or a phrase or something tangible that I can put forward that this is what Unity has done for me. And I really couldn't come up with much, one word or anything tangible. Unity hasn't made me rich, hasn't made me poor, kind of kept me where I was. But I got to thinking about it. And about a month ago, Susie gave an incredible talk. And one of the things she talked about was higher consciousness. And I decided I love that term, higher consciousness, because I feel like that's one thing Unity has given me is the ability to have higher consciousness. And what I mean about that, it gives me the ability to think differently about God, to think differently about all of you, to think differently about myself. I react differently to situations, whether they're good or bad. I react differently to my husband most of the time. Sometimes I'm the old me, but, oh, he's laughing now. So I've decided the best way I could illustrate this is to tell you guys a story of something that happened to me probably a couple months ago. Okay, that's Princess. As many of you know, I'm a veterinarian, and about 40 years ago, I started my own practice in Indianapolis. And shortly after I started, a lady came in, and I was probably 30 years old, and she would have been old enough to be my grandma. And she was so kind and so sweet, and you were just drawn towards her. And she brought in an old cat named Princess. And Princess was old. I took care of her for about 6 months, and she passed on. Hopefully not due to my veterinary care, but anyway, the lady's name was Lillian Wehrstadt, and she just touched me with her actions. Well, a couple weeks after Princess passed on, she brought me this statue that she actually made for me, in appreciation of what I had done for her and Princess, and in memory of Princess as well. Well, underneath it, Lillian wrote, "To Dr. Bruce, in memory of Princess, Christmas 1983, your friend, Lillian." So that was almost 40 years ago. Well, that cat lived in my veterinary practice for 40 years, high on a shelf in the waiting room, and I passed it probably 20 times a day, and it became kind of part of the decor. So I probably didn't notice it much, and I appreciated that she gave it to me. Well, I retired about a year ago, and I brought all my personal belongings home. And Princess came home with me, and we're downsizing like a lot of you guys have done. And Princess kind of had to go. I had nowhere to put her. So 3 times I tried to get rid of Princess, and 3 times she kept looking at me. And 3 times, if I can see the underside again, 3 times I kept reading about what this friend Lillian had written. I didn't know Lillian very well, but she presented herself as my friend, which I'm a 30-year-old punk veterinarian, and this old lady, she wants to be my friend. So all of a sudden, a month ago, this just like touched me much greater than it did 40 years ago. It inspired me. It made me want to be a better person, a kinder person, to do things that 40 years from now would be inspiring people like she has me. So I decided I'm going to put it on Facebook. So I put it on Facebook, and a lot of my Facebook friends are clients, and a lot of them were like, "Yeah, I remember Princess up on that shelf." And I got a lot of positive comments. Then I started thinking, here Lillian 40 years ago gave me this. She had no idea in the world what Facebook was or what social media was, and I'm not sure she knew what a cell phone was. So I'm thinking this woman had no idea that 40 years later she was going to be touching people, touching me, that I could talk about her to a group like you, and how proud she would have been. So I did some research on Lillian, and she died at early 90s, about 5 years after she gave me Princess. She had a son, and he died last year in his early 90s. And she has a grandson that's my age. And I sent him a letter and told him how his grandma was still inspiring me, and how her light is still shining. Reverend Robin gave a talk a few months ago about how we're the light of God, we're the light of the world, and how our light shines everywhere, sometimes dimly, sometimes brightly, and we affect people that we have no idea. And I'm thinking, Lillian's still affecting me. What can I do in 40 years that could inspire other human beings? 40 years, 2060. It sounds horrible. It sounds scary. What will be the social media? My 16-year-old granddaughter, who got her driver's license last month, will be 56 years old. She'll probably have kids and grandkids of her own. I won't be part of that experience, but I pray that somehow something I can do today will inspire them. And the only way I can say that I can recognize this is because I've developed a higher consciousness, and Susie gave it a name, and I thank you for doing that. So basically, I just want to say thank you to Unity. Thank you, Reverend Susie, Reverend Robin, Reverend Amy. She's on the other side, who is always inspiring. Namaste to all of you, and thank all of you. I appreciate you all more than you realize.
Wow. Well, that statement of being, I've been hearing that since 1983, a version of that. That was the most powerful version I had ever heard. Wow. Also, I'm not used to this many new people showing up the very first time at a center when we are the ministers. So please give Reverend Susie a second chance and come back a second time. Should be here. always get nervous if somebody's very first experience is us. So this is a song that I wrote with a guitar player back at Unity of Stewart, all the way back in the 90s. This is called Greater Than Me. It was inspired by my first viewing of a California redwood tree. Anyway, so this is called Greater Than Me. When I look around at all the things that are happening simultaneously, I get the sense of an energy that made everything great and small. From a tiny seed to a redwood tree, from an act of love that formed us all. And I know that there's something that's greater than me, keeps it all flowing so perfectly. When all of our chaos becomes harmony, I know, yes, I know that there's something much greater than me. Bumblebees and gravity are mysteries unexplained by me. From the stars above to the deepest sea, there's a reason for me to believe. And I know that there's something that's greater than me, keeps it all flowing so perfectly. When all of our chaos becomes harmony, I know, yes, I know that there's something much greater than me. And no, not with my head, no, not with my eyes, but my heart that connects with an all-knowing mind. I feel like an astronaut twirling through space and through time. When I look around at all the things that are happening simultaneously, I realize what the children are, the most valuable resource of all. And I know that there's something that's greater than me, keeps it all flowing so perfectly. When all of our chaos becomes harmony, I know, yes, I know that there's something much greater than me. Greater than me, greater than me, greater than me. And I found out on the grapevine that Unity of Stewart today, with my former guitar player Don Rowlett, did that song Greater Than Me today. So that's kind of cool. We keep that soul circle moving all over the place. So today our message is, there's no such thing as rejection. Who's ever felt rejection? How'd that feel? Now, the first thing I want to say is that it's okay to feel it, okay? You just don't want to buy property there, okay? Because Unity teaches us principles that we can let our human self feel what it feels, but then move to a higher consciousness to rise above that, okay? A lot of times people say, oh, you're one of those Unity people. You go to one of those feel-good churches. Uh-huh, yeah. Where do you go? Someplace that makes you feel horrible? Oh, well, you're in denial. I said, no, we're not in denial. We know the cup is half empty. We just focus on the half full part as quickly as possible. And we have tools in our tool chest. Thank you. We have tools in our tool chest that help us do that, okay? To raise our consciousness out of it. We got a chance to experience that this morning, just a few hours ago, when somehow we had a highway problem on the way here. We live about 2 hours and 15 minutes away. We left at 10 after 6 to be here at 8:30. And at about 7:30, it said, you still have an hour and a half to go, or hour and 20 minutes. And I went into my rejection, my pain, my discomfort, my panic. Oh my God, every single voice that's ever said anything negative about me showed up. for a while.
And said it out loud.
And said it out loud. My poor angelic bride had to hear it. I said, it's not you, I'm freaking. That's all right. Number one, get out of this navigator, grab your phone, get a new direction to get us there, get us back on. It's like the universe says, redirecting route. That's what we get to do when we get off track. We have an inner GPS system, as Abraham Hicks says, redirecting route. Redirected route, send an email, let people know we're going to be a little bit later, and guess what? We're able to start to move into the tools. There's no such thing as rejection, right? Did you move into some of that too?
Yeah, divine order.
Divine order. That's one of the greatest tools. Everything's in divine order.
And again, it's not because we're denying the discomfort and all, but we want to get to it's all in divine order quickly so we don't live there, buy property there.
Right, and I believe that's what my 37 years in Unity has done for me, has minimized the gap between panic and trust. It used to be long, maybe years, and then it's moving down, and today we got to it pretty quickly. There's so many examples
Right, well,
of
I'm
that.
going to continue with that.
Please continue with that.
The interesting thing is our navigator had the wrong address. So it actually was taking us to a different place.
Coconut, remember that place?
We kind of feel like God directed us by getting us so, lost in everything to put it in the Google Maps on the phone that was the right address and got us here. So, we go there because that just seems like that was the message, that we weren't supposed to go there. It was the wrong place, so they were redirecting us.
Exactly. There's so many examples of that. The song we sang, Everything Will Be Okay in the End, which I understand John Lennon was the first one to say that. When things don't go the way we plan them to go, feel your feeling really quickly and then move into your unity principles, your tools. We had a situation a while back where 100 gallons of water came into our office at our house. How exciting is that? It was not.
It was not.
It was not. It's flowing. At one point, Angelina's got a bucket over here, got a bucket on the foot. We're catching water. We're freaking out. We're having an addition built. And the day before they sealed it, we had a torrential rainstorm.
And it wasn't tarped correctly, so all the water started coming
I don't think
in.
there's a word called torrential, but I just made it up. It's a combination between torrential and horrible. You can use it. It'll be on Urban Dictionary. A torrential rainstorm. Squirrel. Okay, anyway. You will hear me squirrel from time to time. Anyway, so that's the deal.
So what happened was we're like, panicking, going, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. And then Armand started playing the song, Everything Will Be Okay in the End.
Alexa, please play Okay in the End by Armand and Angelina. We need it right now, and she will play it for you.
And then I decided to make some margaritas, just to make it a little more fun.
Okay, not to offend any recovering alcoholic, but
Right.
tequila is a spirit. Okay. Anyway, but again, we felt what we felt. We felt our panic, but then we moved into, let's just deal with it, do the next right thing, as they say in 12-step groups. Let's do the next right thing, and let's get to the place that this too shall pass, as Eckhart Tolle says. All these wonderful tools, wonderful ways from us to get to the feeling of rejection to the next spot. And that is very, very important because the quality of your life will dramatically improve if you can decrease that gap as much as possible. There are so many different things. Let's take this last year and a half, often being called the great pause. That's my favorite term for it, the great pause. How many people didn't know they needed a pause until they were forced to have one? Okay, now, it was extra hard for me, okay? Do not tell a performer with ADHD they need to stay in their home for 15 months with their poor, sweet, angelic bride. It was, I was not fun, probably. Anyway, it was tough, okay? But I needed it too. I just didn't know I needed it. And Angelina needed it and didn't know she needed it. And tell them about what happened for you.
So for me, we were on the road so much over the last almost 20 years, and that I never felt like I had enough time at home. And even just being home to, clean out the garage or organize a closet. And so every time we were home, it was like, I just want to be home. I'm an introvert too. So it's really important that I have that downtime, alone time, so I can recharge. And there wasn't a lot of that going on. And so the the great pause was really good for me because I got to be in my home, which is, my sanctuary, and I could be calm, and the house looks great. I got everything cleaned up and organized, so that felt really good. The other thing is I had a lump in my throat for like 3 years. When I went to the doctor, it had nothing to do with my vocal cords. It's called a global sensations, and they're not really totally sure why that happens, but they say a lot of it is stress and anxiety, and that it will go away eventually. And being home this whole time, there's no more lump in my throat. So, so that's wonderful. So.
I thought it was just a chip, but it wasn't. You hadn't eaten chips. It was actually a situation. So, and so let me give you a couple of fun terms we came up with. So as I was studying, and this is going to sound weird. Anybody that's known me, raise your hand if you've seen us before. Okay, so anybody that's known me knew that I had some kind of condition. Okay, I'm not going to say disability, but condition. Except I didn't know. It was never diagnosed because I kept myself so busy with this fabulous career, traveling all the time, and keeping myself busy and being with a fabulous person that it never got too challenging. I was managing it until the great pause. And then it was not managed, so I started getting studies, and I went to see a psychiatrist, and they went, duh. And so I started getting treatment. And there's all kinds of different treatments to do. But the new term for ADHD is no longer ADHD. It does not have the word disorder in it. Because let me tell you something. None of us have disorders. None of us really have disabilities. We just have a different ability. Okay? Let's say that together. We have a different ability. Okay? So the new term for ADHD is VAST. V-A-S-T, which stands for Variable Attention Stimulus Trait. Doesn't that sound better? So then Angelina got jealous because I had this new word, I'm vast, squirrel, I'm vast. She said, I don't have a term. I said, well, I've got one for you now that I've watched you this last year. You have OCPC. She goes, what's that? I said, obsessive compulsive project condition. The woman started doing projects like crazy, and they were fulfilling her in a way that she hadn't ever been fulfilled. She became a producer. If you go to YouTube and you go to Armand and Angelina, she produced about 70 little video blogs, in the kitchen with Armand and Angelina, in bed with Armand and Angelina, clothes on, in bed, in the living room with Armand and Angelina. They were just little things.
It's the daily word. So we did the daily word and then did something, talked about it and did, a skit or a fun thing or whatever. And so I really just did it for one morning. And then people were on Facebook saying, please do this every day. We need this so much right now. Please do it every day. And so I thought, okay, I can commit to that. I will do one every day. And so we did one every day for several months. I don't remember how many, but quite a few months. It was fun. It brought out that creativity in me. It gave me more confident to speak, because I'm a shy introvert. Sometimes it's not always easy for me to speak out in public. I know it's weird because I'm on stage, but I do have that shyness, so that gave me more confidence that I can stand here and talk to you all today, too.
Sounds like that shyness went away with that global sensation.
Yeah,
and I had lost all my motivation to do anything except catch bass.
Yes.
Okay, that was it. My father and I, when I was a little kid, would go bass fishing from the shore with spinners. I call it ADHD fishing, bass fishing, because it's not with live bait, it's just with the spinners. So no matter whether they're biting or not, you're doing stuff. So it's all fun. And I was just out there sometimes 8 hours a day. She called herself, what did you call yourself?
Fisherman's widow.
A fisherman's widow, because I was gone so much. And so I had lost all my motivation to do anything because I live for this.
Right.
So
what do you call that? Vitamin?
Oh, it's the other vitamin C, Vitamin Connect. I was getting like some form of scurvy. I was literally Vitamin Connect deficient. And I remember, and I was telling Reverend Susie today, I remember when the governor canceled the unemployment. Now, by the way, we're not getting into politics. I will tell you that thing that y'all are doing on Wednesday with the bring civility back into the world, that is about as important a topic as we can do. And as she said, we don't need to stop disagreeing. We need to learn how to disagree more civilly. okay? And that is very important. A few years ago in 2016, I created something called the Purple Evolution movement. And basically Purple Evolution says, doesn't matter if you're blue, it doesn't matter if you're red, we're all on the same team, left wing, right wing, same bird, we need to learn to fly together. It doesn't mean we will ever necessarily agree on stuff. That's not important. Flying together, enough of that. So yeah, that's very, very important, that civility, okay? Where was I?
You're talking about the Purple Evolution.
Before that.
Before it.
The governor, thank you very much. So we're not getting, but anyway, just to tell you, I need people to squirrel me back. When he said 11 weeks early they were going to cut the unemployment, I felt rejected because I didn't want to go back out into the unity movement until it was viable again, and it wasn't at the time. And I felt some rejection, and then we went into our tools. It wouldn't be happening if it weren't supposed to. Byron Katie fans, how do you know if something's happening the way it's supposed to? If it's happening, that's it. So I moved beyond. Okay, there's going to be a blessing in it. The minute I found that out and I started calling administrators and ministers and music directors Vitamin Connect, I started to feel better. Okay, we know in unity, if life gives you lemons, what do you make? Lemonade. It doesn't mean you're denying that they're sour. It means you're going to use your unity principles to sweeten them up and make something good out of it. Okay, that is not denial. That is smart, okay? The pessimist, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. The optimist, no, it only appears that way because we're ascending. Okay. So all these things help us to small in that gap. Bring that gap down from being rejected and feeling sad and feeling depressed to moving into our true joy and light and trust. Okay, I want to read. Now, one of the things that bothers me, I don't know if it bothers you, is when speakers and artists use their position to promote their own stuff. I just think that's weird. Anyway, I'm going to read something from my book. Right before COVID, I wrote this book. And I'm just going to read one little paragraph. Thank you. Faith in the system. Everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything. And that's the only time everything will be okay. Wow, who said that? Michael Singer, one of our favorite books in the entire world, The Untethered Soul. And then this surrender experiment. Okay, if you're a control freak, fellow control freak, read the surrender experiment. Surrendering is one of the hardest things, but surrendering is a form of trust that God is greater and knows what's best. Okay, faith has been said to stand for feeling all right in the heart. Faith, feeling all right in the heart. Feeling all right in the heart does not mean we always understand everything. It doesn't mean we don't get confused. It just means that we trust that, as John Lennon said, everything will be okay in the end. Being confused is okay. Thinking that there is something wrong with us for being confused is the problem. Aho. So anyway, so I now pronounce you not guilty. That's probably be the next service that we do when we're here. By the way, here's another example of a quick example of a rejection that happened with me recently. Somebody on Facebook started to tell me that what Angelina and I do is inspired by Satan. I know. And this is a former New Thought person who has backslid. No, anyway, Angelina, she used to go to a place called the Mile High Church in Colorado. And now she's gone. You may have met some people that have come from those churches into Unity, but also some people go here and they go back. I believe that there are people that do not feel comfortable unless they're in some sort of an exclusive members-only club. And I'm not blaming them. I'm not making them wrong. Everything is divine, but that's not for us. We don't want to be in a members-only club. We want to be in a club that is inclusive of all. Everyone's a member. I don't want to go to a place where God only has certain people, okay? Now, I will tell you this. There's a story about this. St. Peter's showing somebody around heaven and goes up to this gorgeous cathedral with stained glass and incense and says, "Who's that?" He goes, "Those are the Catholics. They're having a great time. They're here." Then he goes to another place, and it's all white, and it's like a big, giant, huge mosque. "Those are the Muslims." And then he goes to another place, and it's rocking. It's huge, and they're loud, and there's rock and roll. And he goes, "What's that?" He goes, "That's the fundamentalists." He goes, "Why are we whispering?" "They think they're the only ones here." They're they're still going. They're still going. But we don't have to think we have it right. So when this woman was telling me, talking about God as a male and promoting heterosexuality as the only way to be, and it was really uncomfortable. I did something special. I did something called Bless and Block. There's a button on your Facebook called Block. Now, you always bless them before you block them, but I had to block her because she was negative. And the message I got when I started to open up, this happened for a reason. I'm supposed to get deeper in my spirituality because this person was so negative towards me. And the message I got, and this is the message I got. You're not necessarily going to agree with it, but I did it. And the message was, this is God. I am not binary. I identify as they. And that just helped me understand that she was resisting inclusivity. And if you're resisting inclusivity, you will not be comfortable in a place like this. And that's all right. But you're no longer allowed to be on my Facebook page and promote that. Okay? That is dangerous. Hallelujah. Okay, so we're going to finish up with a song that will exemplify the idea, because it was based on the idea that there's no such thing as rejection. We were up in New Jersey. This friend of ours that we were hanging with used to do what we do here. Now she is recovering from stage 4 cancer for the last 3 years, and her scans keep coming up clear. Her name is Spring. Has anybody ever heard of her? I know she used to sing at a lot of different New Thought churches in this area. Spring said to me one time, she said, Armand, I know the best Italian restaurant where you're going to find the best eggplant parmesan you ever had. I said, bring it on. We got there, they were closed. I felt rejection. I wanted that. Forget about it. I said, I want to try that Parmesan. She said, they're closed. And she said, Armand, there's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Another principle, another tool for the toolbox. I said, that resonates with me. And then I started saying it. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. And then I realized it wrong. It's like, hey, there's no such thing as rejection. It's just God pointing us in another direction. And then one day I started singing it. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. I realized I had just written a pirate song. So if you'd like to sing this pirate song with me, every single time that something doesn't go the way you think it should, remind yourself, there's no such thing as rejection. God pointing us in another direction. I'm going to tell you one of the greatest examples of that. How many people ever got divorced? How many people felt rejected when they got divorced? How many people found out that it turned out really good in the end? There's no such thing as direction, just God pointing us in another direction. Hit it, honey. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Hey! Da, 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 da. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na 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 na. On the day that I was born and slapped upon my cheeks, you think that I would ascertain the world is rather bleak. But I heard a voice of wisdom, and in my ear would ring, don't think the world is against you. There's no such thing. The world is never against you. There's no such thing. Your turn. Na, 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 na. There's no such thing as rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God pointing us in another direction. Na, 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 na. At an early age, I knew true love would be my quest. Through many trials and tribulations, put me through the test. There were a dozen lovely maidens, much heartache they would bring. I thought the world was against me, but there's no such thing. We've been together 20 and a half years. There's no such thing. Hey! Na, 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 na. There's no such thing as rejection. It's not pointing us in another direction. It's never rejection. It's God putting us in the right direction. Na 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 na. Through my renaissance into my middle ages, becoming fully realized, I trust my inner sages. My quest is done, I found my bride, this holy grail I bring. The world was never against me, there's no such thing. The world is never against us, cause there's no such thing. Your turn. Thank you. What's a pirate's favorite letter? You'd think it was R, but we fancy the C.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that message and the music. Let's give them a little more love. Whew, wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to invite our chaplains to come forward, please. Our prayer chaplains are here available to you after the service for a brief 1-minute miracle prayer, or you can create, it only takes a minute for a miracle, because they're happening all around us all the time. Or you can make a longer appointment for those of you who are a bit stubborn. You can take a minute or you can take a lifetime, but I suggest a minute. Let's thank them for their service. Great. And I also want to remind you again, Wednesday evening, 7 p.m., Karen Tibbles will be here, Persuade, Don't Preach, Finding Common Ground, Healing Conflict. So be here for that. It's very, very important work for all of us, to find that common ground and bring back civility. Okay. We're not passing the baskets around for safety reasons. You will have some smiling. You have to trust me on this because they're wearing masks, but there are smiling folks holding the offering plates as you exit today. And we appreciate whatever you put in there, or if you're not putting something in, hold your hand over the bowl and be in blessing and prayer, and so that you're in that circulation of good. We appreciate all the gifts, all of them, whatever it may be. And so let's say our affirmation together. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly. And also, while I'm speaking about that, I just want to tell you that Armand and Angelina want every one of you to know that they would love for you to have their music. And so they offer their CDs, which will be in the fellowship hall right next to the food. And they offer it on a suggested exchange basis. So you decide what it is that you'd like to give to take their music home with you. Please take what you desire, give from your heart, and feel free to tithe in the future if you don't have it now. So just know that the music is yours. You know what you can give back, and it may be simply a blessing. Right. So thank you for your generosity on that. We appreciate it. And finally, we're going to close with our prayer for protection. But I do just want to preface this by saying that we have lots of wonderful food in the fellowship hall. Please enjoy. Everybody go through once first, and I think there's plenty for seconds. So if you want seconds, just give everybody a fair chance. I'm talking about myself because I usually get there when the food's gone. So please save me something. Save me something. And then what I'm really hoping that you will do is, once you've fed your body, come back and feed your soul with the music and the concert this afternoon after the fellowship. It'll be a wonderful day that we get to spend together, and what wonderful energy to take into the week, right? Isn't that great? Yeah. Okay, let's do that. And so let's close with our prayer for protection, followed by the peace song. And we're going to sing, but we're not going to hold hands, right? Okay. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God, our Creator, family all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins.